So without any further ado, I'd like to hand over to Professor Monty. Thank you.
The reason I'm here today, actually, because this is my first presentation about the book. The book was published basically in January this year. And the book started, the concept for the book, the idea for the book, began in Riverton, because I got my citizenship in New Zealand while living in Riverton, and in fact received my New Zealand citizenship in Invercargill some years ago. And I thought it would just be appropriate, because I mentioned Riverton a few times in the book, and I talk about exciting things that happen there. I'm really excited about the book, but I'm not trying to sell you the book. In fact, two of the most important chapters in the book are available free, and I'll tell you about that soon. What I'm here for, I'm here to warn you about a food additive that is killing you and your children. And I want you to understand the seriousness of what I'm about to say and tell you. And I need you to join me and try to get this additive out of our food supply. This is the key. The reason I've written the book was to expose not only this food additive, but to divulge the science behind the power of methanol, methyl alcohol, one of the most dangerous poisons to human known to man. And you've got to listen to this and listen to what I say. There's going to be a little bit of science here. I want you to ask questions as we go along. We have a microphone for that purpose. This is pretty open-ended. If there's anything you don't understand, please ask. Okay, this is the book. Okay, the two most important chapters, especially to people in New Zealand, I'm really sure that I've figured out the cause of multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is a disease that started about 150 years ago. Drug companies don't seem to understand what caused it. They've been working on it forever. It's a simple cause, and I'm going to explain that to you. That chapter is available free for download on the site, on Chapter 9. And what I'm really concerned about, young kids, young people starting to have families, wanting to have families. Okay, I believe, and I think I can prove to you today, that autism was started by aspartame, NutraSweet, okay? The diet additive that's used in every single diet product, just about every single diet product in New Zealand. Right now we're in big trouble with this additive. Aspartame costs much less to sweeten products with than sugar does right now. These companies, like the Coca-Cola company, are trying to force us. They're trying to change the law. Have you seen the new advertisements where they're advertising, they have somebody drinking regular Coke, and then somebody sneaks in with a Diet Coke, changes it over, and say, see, they didn't notice the difference. They want to be able to push on you Diet Coke when you order Coke. Why? Because they make money. And that's horrifying, because I'm going to tell you the dangers, to tell you exactly what this product does to you. Okay. Aspartame 951 equal. Okay, the sweetener in diet or zero-calorie foods and drinks, it contains methanol. And it's a major component is methanol. Okay, about 10% of it will turn into methanol as soon as you eat it. Methanol is an alcohol you read about when people become blind from drinking. Methanol is a poisonous, colorless, odorless, flammable liquid. It's used for paint stripper, carburetor cleaner, gasoline additive. And methanol is killing you and your children if you're consuming it. This is one of the first things we noticed in the United States when aspartame first was added to the food supply. Now here's something you got to sort of remember. I'll say it a few times during the meeting. It has aspartame 951 has a life of its own. Okay, it had a birth date. Okay, that birth date is 1981. I'm going to have to, well, let me see. Hey, I've got this laser jet. Okay, it was first put into powdered food products in 1981. Okay, this blue line, you'll see this blue line over and over again in my slides. That blue line represents the total consumption of aspartame in the United States over this period of years. Okay, so there was basically in 1981 it started, it was put in powdered products. They wouldn't allow it in carbonated beverages. Then in 1983, the latter part of 1983, the company who manufactured the product, which we'll talk about in a bit, applied to have it allowed in carbonated beverages. They knew that this would be of tremendous importance to them. It would increase the demand dramatically. It also increase the consumption dramatically. And holy mackerel, what has happened here? Okay, so here's what happens. Here's the consumption, and then all of a sudden, when it was allowed in carbonated beverages, the consumption rose, skyrocketed within a year and a half. And then it's slowly been going up since then. When this first happened, the one thing that I noticed, and this is the first thing you would expect to notice, methyl alcohol causes many different symptoms when humans consume it. The first symptom is very serious headache, and then depression. And it goes beyond just depression. It does something to the brain, and we're not sure exactly what happens, but it causes what we call it ahedonia, the inability to perceive pleasure. And this lingers for sometimes weeks. It happens, well, so this is one of the serious symptoms. Now, what would you expect to be the first effect on a population when you're feeding it something that depresses you? You would think maybe suicide. Well, the rate of suicide in the United States dramatically shot. That's this red line. Teen suicide shot up dramatically and stayed up for a long time, for years actually. 1,600 additional teen suicide occurred in the United States during that period of time. You experienced the exact same thing in New Zealand. Okay? Difficult to prove this, but this is the kind of association I'm going to show you for various diseases that I believe are caused by methyl alcohol. The good news about this whole thing is, really good news, and that is if they hadn't done this, we would have never discovered the real cause for some of these diseases. And this is the exciting part. So we're going to make something good out of something extremely bad.